and you have to know what you want, and you have to, and this is pretty much in everything in life, I think, you have to be willing to give up what you want now for what you want for good. And, the taste of that cake or cookie or whatever is not nearly as good as it feels to keep the weight off. And that's kind of the midst of a struggle I'm in right now, because y'all, this last year and a half with COVID has been hard.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of So What Success Stories. And today I am talking to a newer friend, not brand new, because she's been rolling with me for a minute. This is Margaret, and Margaret is an independent director with Pampered Chef and parts assistants for avionics specialists. But I know her from Pampered Chef. And I met Margaret with the very first Love Yourself event, which is the fundraiser that I do for the So What Foundation. And it was my little experiment. Margaret, I don't even know if you realize it was my experiment just to see if it would work.
It worked out well.
It did. I had the event at my house. I did not know Margaret. Somebody else suggested Margaret. And Margaret came, and she has stuck with me, even though the other person isn't even with me anymore. Margaret is still rolling with me, and she has been at every single Love Yourself event since that first one. But I'm super excited to be talking to Margaret and sharing her story. Margaret, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Margaret, as Summer had said, and I was super excited to do that first event with Summer and to continue with it, because I love what she's doing and how she's helping so many people. And quite honestly, she's been an inspiration to me as well with the things that she's overcome in her life. And she's just an encouragement, first of all. You're welcome. About myself, I grew up in a small rural town in West Tennessee. I graduated from Union University, moved to Memphis in '94 with an 8-month-old baby in tow as a single mom. Have just basically made things work when they weren't necessarily going to work. And we all have those challenges, I think. But I have a wonderful man that I've been with forever. He has a 30-year-old son. My son that I moved here with is now 28. He's married, and I'm going to be a grandma. I'm so excited.
That's the best. I love that.
I know.
Well, look, Margaret, where in West Tennessee are you from?
I am from Lexington. Grew up in Henderson County. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm originally from Hardeman County. And I moved to Madison County before I came to Shelby County. So small town girl too. There
you go.
Well, let's get into this story because, so we got some things in common. First of all, I need that wonderful man part, though. I don't have that in common with you.
I met him here at work, actually, amazingly enough.
That is awesome. Well, in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. And that is when someone can learn to overcome obstacles, excuses, and calculate choices they can achieve. So what success? And that simply means being successful, even when life is hard, even when things are rough, even when things are messed up. In spite of any obstacles, you can be successful. And Margaret, you said the words, you basically just figured it out, right? And that's
what you have to do.
Absolutely. So talk about some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome so that you could be successful.
Okay. First of all, making the decision to move to Memphis. I didn't really have a lot of family here. My sister was here, so that was good. And I had some friends here from school. And, home is not too far away. It's only an hour and a half up the road. So, family's still pretty close. But, wanting to do things on my own and not have to depend on my parents for everything. Because, I was 26 college graduate, full-time job working, but, the income just isn't the same when you're trying to pay rent and daycare. And sometimes you have to tuck that tail in between your legs and go back home. But then I had the opportunity to come here and work a Monday through Friday daytime job and not have to work nights for a while, which was wonderful. And have just taken different jobs as they come along. And through a weird series of events, came to this job at avionics specialist. And this is my second time here. And I've been here for 17 years this time around. It's a great company to work for.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Talk a little bit more about some of the obstacles you've experienced, because I know just I met you at the event, and I basically see you once a year, right?
Right. We don't see each other much.
Other than on Facebook, but I follow you on Facebook. And one thing that I've observed recently is your weight loss journey. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's a great one. So, and then I know it's an obstacle.
That is definitely an obstacle. And that is something that I have dealt with off and on my whole life, pretty much ever since I had my tonsils out and I could eat. You're not sick all the time, so food is good. But it's something that it takes a lot of, it definitely takes willpower, and you have to know what you want, and you have to, and this is pretty much in everything in life, I think, you have to be willing to give up what you want now for what you want for good. And, the taste of that cake or cookie or whatever is not nearly as good as it feels to keep the weight off. And that's kind of the midst of a struggle I'm in right now, because y'all, this last year and a half with COVID has been hard.
Sure. And it's been hard for everybody. So I can only imagine for somebody who that is already in a challenge for them. Well, you look good, girl.
I'm hiding it.
No, I've been seeing you, and I salute you and I applaud you, because that's major. That's a major accomplishment.
Thank you.
Like, even for somebody like me, I have plenty of obstacles in my life. My weight has not been a major one. It has been one, but not a major one. So even when I want to lose a little bit of weight, it's not easy. And so I really salute people who go all in and who have, a bigger challenge with that. And to see you accomplish it is just it's just amazing. So
Thank you.
SOA success system, you are so welcome. So what the second part of SOA success system is eliminating the excuses. And so you alluded to some of that already, but talk a little about some of the excuses you've had to eliminate throughout your life to meet your goals and get where you want to be.
I think one thing, especially once I had Hunter, was I had to eliminate the excuse of I'm a single parent, and I still have to do things. I still have to raise him. I still have to work. I still have goals that I want to reach, and I have to do everything that I can to reach them, even though it may not be as ideal with having to find somebody to take care of him, because there was nobody else at home to do that, and things like that. But you really just have to think about what you want, and not only, for me, it was not only making a better life for myself, it was trying to make a good life for Hunter too, and to show him that we could do it by ourselves, with help from friends and family, but that we were strong and we were tough and we could make it. And I think you have to do that and keep that in mind, no matter what your situation is, that yes, you have friends and family to depend on, but a lot of people don't have that, and they still have to figure out a way to make it work.
Figure it out, like you said.
Yeah, figure it out. And I know I seem to keep coming back to that, but that's kind of what you have to do. And everybody's situation is different. So you have to really ponder and pray and think about what works for you and what's going to be the best situation for you.
Well, I can really relate 100% to that in so many ways, with me moving here from a smaller town with my son and having to do said, but focused on my goal and figuring it out. But every time you say figure it out, I'm laughing in my head, Margaret, because the class that I taught at the University of Memphis, I don't know if you remember, I had an opportunity to create my own course at the University of Memphis, and my book was a textbook. And so I had students that was like, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. They would say that from time to time. And I had this one, I said this, and then from that point on throughout the semester, he said it. Every time somebody said, I don't know how, or how can I would point to him and he would say, figure it out. Because I would never tell them how. I would never tell them how. Like, because it would always be things that kind of were easy, you know. I was like, I would just point to him and he would say, figure it out. So every time you say that, I'm like, yeah, that's true to life. Just whatever it is, don't look for somebody to tell you the answer.
Exactly, because they're not going to tell you what you need to do precisely. They're going to tell you what they would do.
Exactly. And in my case, I'm not even going to tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you to figure it out.
Figure it out. Figure it out. Exactly.
So I love that. I love it. Well, the third part of the SOA success system is about choices, calculating choices. Talk about some of the choices that you've had to calculate throughout your life to meet those goals and to overcome your obstacles.
Okay. I will start, I guess I'll probably start when I was a kid. I was very painfully shy. It was very hard for me to talk to people. I always made great grades, was valedictorian in my high school class, but I'm telling you, making that speech in front of everybody was horrifying to me. It was so scary. When I went to college, I ran around with a group of people who really helped me get out of my shell a little bit. I'm still shy. I know that's hard to believe right now because I'm actually talking with you on this. But I worked a retail job, and that really helps you get out of your comfort zone because you have to talk to people or they're going to turn around and walk out of your store. And so that kind of helped a little bit. And then I developed a ton of confidence when I started with Pampered Chef, when I became a consultant. And because yes, Pampered Chef sells itself. You know, you hear that so often. Oh, it's such a great product. It sells itself. It does. But, you know, we have to be there to help our customers and our hosts and our guests be the most successful that they can be. And if you're really quiet and shy, you can't really do that. So you kind of have to come out of that shell.
Absolutely.
And I've always kind of wanted to talk, but never really did it. I wrote a lot when I was younger, and that was how I would express myself. And I do kind of want to get back to that too, because that's a great way to vent and to say a lot of things that you might not necessarily want to say out loud to somebody because it might not be a good idea.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, you're saying that thing because I'm shy too. And I say that all the time. I wrote in my book, I was shy. I really am still kind of shy until I'm passionate. And so
exactly, that's me. I understand that.
I see that in you. I see that in you. I see that in you. We'll talk about some of the other choices that you've had to calculate, because I'm thinking specifically even about you, the choice I made that was similar to yours, and making the choice to leave your town with the child to come to college. You know, that was a calculated choice.
Yeah. It was, you know, I had finished with college and I'd been out of school for a couple of years and I was working, and, you know, then got pregnant with Hunter. And you realize at that point who a lot of your friends are and who a lot of your friends aren't. But it was hard to come to Memphis, you know, from being in that comfort zone at my parents' house. But I wanted to still, you know, I needed to get back out of their house and raise my child on my own. And so I started looking for jobs, and a friend of mine worked at a hotel in Jackson that there was another hotel here. The investment company was here that had several hotel properties. And so I came down here for a job interview, and I took the job, and that was really scary because I had not lived in Memphis before. I was familiar with Memphis. And like I said, I had my sister was here. So that was good. I had somebody here for support, but I didn't know what I was going to do about childcare. And I didn't know what I was going to do about insurance, because unfortunately the job didn't have insurance. But the desire that I had to raise my child on my own and, take care of things myself was stronger than the fear.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just feeling it. I'm listening to you and I'm like back in it,
Right. Because I know, you were there, and, we weren't in the same small town, but we were both in small towns and similar situations with that. You were younger, but it's still no less frightening, no matter how old you are, to be in that by yourself.
Yeah. The thing that you hit on for anybody who's watching this, who they don't have to have a child, they can hopefully relate to what you just said. Is like your desire was so strong. And you said your desire your son on your own, but the bottom line is if your desire is strong to do something, to accomplish something, you can accomplish anything. You can
exactly.
People doubt that you can do, and you might even doubt yourself if you can do them if the desire is strong enough. I love it. I love it. I love it. So talk about this then. Talk a little bit about your choice to go after Pampered Chef, to start with Pampered Chef, because I love how you said it improved your confidence, because that's a key to being more successful, and also a key to being more resilient is being more confident. So talk about your choice to start with Pampered Chef.
To start with that. Okay. I had been to a ton of Pampered Chef parties. I had a few products, because doing that whole single mom thing, I didn't have a lot of extra money to spend. So I would host some parties so I could get stuff for free. And
I like that too.
Right. I met the lady who I eventually ended up signing up with, Lynn, at one of the parties that I had gone to. And I booked a party, and she and I just really hit it off. And like I said, I hosted several parties, but I'd never really hit it off with another consultant the way I had with her. And for a couple of years, I just went back and forth. Just, I would email her every time Derek and I needed to buy something, and did a couple of catalog parties. And in that time, she moved back to Virginia Beach because she was here. Her husband was Navy. So they were stationed in Millington for a while. And then I had emailed her and said, hey, I need some stuff. And she said, well, I need something from you too. I'm like, oh boy, what do you need? And she was very close to hitting a goal of her own for a number of new consultants in a certain time period, like in a year. And she said, I need you to hurry up and just do this because I think you would be great at it. And I talked to her that night for like an hour, asking her probably more questions than she had ever heard. But I wanted to be sure this was something. And we talked about it, and both of us just came to the conclusion that it was just a God thing at the timing of it. And when I started, I was just, very part-time. I wanted to just earn a little extra money to go on vacations with the boys or whatever. And over the years, I have worked it a little harder. And in 2014, when we had our conference in the summer, I was actually able to sit one-on-one with our national executive director, who is like the Pampered Chef lady. She's amazing. But I was able to sit one-on-one with her, and she looked at our numbers. She came from an accounting background, so everything is a numbers game to her. And she looked at my numbers. She said, there's no reason you can't be a director and earn that trip to Disney by the end of the year. And this was in July. I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that, but I did it. Wow. I did it. And I have been a director since 2014. So I'm super excited about my business. And it's something I'm proud of, something that I'm doing for myself that, is helping our family. It has earned us vacations, and I will never look back on that. This is something I plan on doing until I can't do it anymore.
And I love it. And I see the passion in you. And you know what else I like, Margaret, is from the moment I met you, you are in this business, man, but you're so laid back and cool about it.
Oh,
you know?
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I mean,
I don't feel that way.
And that's what I see. And that's what I've observed of you since 2015. Whenever I did the first Love Yourself video.
Yeah, I think it was 2015 or 2016. It's been a year.
It has been. And I like that you are cool about it and not have pressure with anybody. And you just, and I love it. I love it. And as I'm saying this, I'm in my house right now. And I'm thinking about when I saw for the first time a cake being made in the microwave.
I know, right? That was pretty awesome, right?
I loved it. But you have been great. And I love to see, how you created a second stream of income for yourself, but how it is so much more than money. How it's so much more than money for you. And that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I just wanted you to plug your Pamper Chef business because that's what brought us.
That's what brought us ever.
I love it. And you know what? So I have bought product. I'm not a baker. I can admit it. I'm not even just a baker. I'm not an in the kitchen girl so much anymore. I always tell people about you and to support your business and to get some good products. So I love it.
I appreciate that.
Well, Margaret, so you're definitely a solo success woman. You know how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. And that's why you're a solo success. You are a solo success. But Margaret, how do you personally define success? What's your definition of success?
That's always a tough one. And I think it's changed from like over the years. But to me, being successful, not necessarily having a lot of material goods, although, that's good. You definitely want to have all your creature comforts, but to be able to spend time with your family, be proud of what you've accomplished, and to just be yourself in the midst of everything that you're going through. And because, there are some tough times, and, Derek and I've had a pretty rough year with losing his mom, my mom breaking her leg, my son having a crazy marriage. It's been a crazy year, but you sit back and you look and you take a look at everything around you and your family and each other and your peace. And to me, that's successful. Yes, I love having earned trips. That is fantastic to go on a free vacation. But to just be able to be happy in yourself and the people you have around you, to me, that's the major success.
Isn't it amazing how our definition of success changes over time?
But it does.
I felt peace. Even as you were saying that, I'm like, yeah, that's success. That's success. Okay, so I have one last question for you, Margaret.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's watching this and they want to be successful, however they define success, but they run into obstacles? Life might be a little tough. What advice would you give them?
I would say, first of all, to speak to people that you trust and, get their advice. Maybe not necessarily follow it to the letter because they may have some ideas that don't exactly fit with you, but that's also why you want to get somebody that you really trust and that you have watched their journey and you want to not necessarily emulate it, but you see the peace that they're in and speak with them about that. Pray a lot. I mean, that's my thing. That I think you have to. And I know there are some people that probably aren't, religious or whatever, that might not quite get that. But so if you don't want to say pray about it, think about it, ponder it, make lists of all the pros and cons of what you can do to make your situation better, and really think about your why you want this particular thing and the steps you can take to get there and what it'll mean to you and your family if you do it and when you do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even think ifs when you do it.
Man,
I
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love all of that advice. I love every bit of that advice. And I think if we can take that advice, to make the list, to pray about it, and think about your why, and talk to a trusted person, all those things are great. That can help us through the tough times, and that can help us to get to our goals and achieve whatever we want, whatever we desire, like we said in the beginning. So thank you, Margaret. This was a pleasure. It's always so much fun getting to know people that I know a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I had no idea we had so much in common. So
I know, right? That's because we haven't been able to talk that much at your events because you're so busy.
And so are you. So are you. Thank you so much, Margaret. It's a joy.
Thank you, Summer. I have really enjoyed this. You've made me very comfortable.
Yay.